fuel detergent.
Sam Bradford was a late scratch from Sunday with a knee injury. Case Keenum got the start for the Vikings, and things went as you'd expect. Minnesota lost 26-9 to Pittsburgh. Bradford is now listed as day-to-day. CC, what do you think about the Vikings if Bradford is not in this lineup?
And I was so looking forward to Bradford playing, following up that nice Monday night game against your defense, the New Orleans Saints, and anybody can carve up. So, no, the Vikings, they're going to struggle without Bradford. His overall accuracy, and now they're throwing the ball deep down the field with Sam. No, they're going to struggle without him. But you still got to like Dalvin Cook, the rookie from Florida State, second-round pick, looked good against the Steelers.
I'm going to focus on the other running back, Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell, only 13 touches in Week 1. 31 touches in Week 2, nearly 4 yards per touch as opposed to under 3 yards per touch in Week 1. Le'Veon Bell getting back to being Le'Veon Bell, and Martavis Bryant, his first touchdown since his suspension.
The Panthers improved to 2-0 with a thrilling 9-3 win against the Bills. Cam Newton looked better than last week, going 20-32 for 228 yards. Nick, and we got a dab sighting, but the line struggled to protect him as Cam was sacked 6 times. Both of you guys. Will you guys have high hopes for the Panthers?
Defense, CC, first team since the 2010 Ravens to not allow a touchdown through the first 3 games. First team since the 2 games. First team since the 1981 Bills told each of their opponents the first 2 weeks to 3 points or fewer. The defense has been awesome. Cam is getting better. The offensive line's got to protect him more. He was hurried or hit 17 times yesterday.
Cam was better in week number 2, but he's going to have to get better as we go to week number 3 and the rest of the season. His number 1 target, Greg Olsen, a broken foot. Don't know how long he's going to be out, but we're going to have to see the best of
hauling the defense. Chiefs look really good, CC.
Andy Reid is a great coach to acquire a lot of talent. This might be the most talented team he's had in a long time. I expect the Chiefs to be the best team in the AFC, and they followed up that great win in week number 1 with a solid win at Kansas City in week number 2 against a good Philadelphia team. I like the Chiefs, and that AFC West is tough.
The 7 teams in the league are 2-0. 3 of them are in the AFC West.
Nick, your Seahawks didn't look great, but they hold on to beat your 49ers 12-9. Your guy, Russell Wilson, throwing for less than 200 yards, and Seattle now has just 1 touchdown through week 2. But CC, I ask you, what's wrong with the Seattle Seahawks right now?
That offensive line. I know I read where Doug Baldwin said we can overcome a bad offensive line. No, you can't. It's the most powerful unit on a football team. You can't overcome their poor play. It affects the quarterback. It affects your ability. You know where Jimmy Graham, reason why he disappeared? A lot of times he got to stay in and block now because that offensive line is not good. This is something that will be a theme. I wish I would have known what I know now and heading into week number 3 that this offensive line was this poor, because I wouldn't have picked them as my Super Bowl pick. That's for sure.
You get what you pay for, right?
Yes.
And the point you've been making is a good one. No team in the league spends less money on their offensive line. Less than 10% of their entire salary cap on their offensive line. So it's probably expected that this would be the offensive line production. I thought the offense as a whole, though, would be able to overcome it a little bit more than this. The Seahawks playing this way in Seattle against a dreadful Niners team has made me reevaluate a lot of things. It's made me reevaluate how good I thought the Green Bay defense was, because Green Bay held Seattle down. It's made me reevaluate how good I think Seattle can be, because we know the defense is in the argument for best defense in football. But if the offense goes 7 quarters and 12 minutes to start the season without scoring a touchdown, you're not going to be able to beat people like that. They've been lucky thus far this season that they haven't had to deal with a great defense yet. What would happen if Seattle was up against Carolina? Seattle was up against Denver. Seattle was up against one of the Giants, a defense that we expect to be really good.
They don't have to worry. They're at Titans next week. They're at Tennessee.
That's fair.
So
go ahead, CC. Sorry.
Tennessee's got a good defense, but maybe the 49ers are a little bit better.
No.
They're not. They're a little bit worse.
Yeah. Seattle's offensive line.
Yeah,
it's going to be a problem.
Yes,
always.
Exactly right.
Back to the Cowboys, who got crushed 42-17 in Denver. Ezekiel Elliott was basically a no-show. He only gained 9 yards on 8 carries. Dak Prescott came back down to earth, throwing for 238 yards with 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown at the very end. Nick, is this Dallas team good enough to win when Zeke struggles?
Yes, they weren't yesterday. Yesterday, the whole team was bad. The defense let Trevor Siemian look like a future Pro Bowler when he hasn't looked like that throughout his career. Dak had just the third bad game of his career. Zeke had what I would believe to be the worst football game he's ever played in his life at any level. You can't tell me Zeke's ever had more carries than yards in Pee Wee High School or at Ohio State, certainly not last year with the Cowboys. So it was a perfect storm of badness for the Cowboys. But people need to stop doubting and looking for reasons to believe that Dak Prescott isn't awesome. Take your favorite quarterbacks in football. It doesn't matter who they are. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Eli Manning, Derek Carr, Cam Newton, any quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger that you would list as I think he's the best. Which quarterback has the best passer rating through his first 18 starts? Which quarterback has the best touchdown and interception ratio through his first 18 starts? Which quarterback has the best completion percentage? The answer to all of those questions is Dak Prescott. We can't just keep looking for reasons he fell to the fourth round of the draft, other than people misevaluated him. He's fantastic. The team as a whole was just bad yesterday.
Dak is fantastic. Dak is not the concern. But I think the question should be, if they negate our running game, can the passing game carry this team? And with that, I would tell you, no. Both the interceptions were Dez Bryant's fault. All right? The slant. All right? He's got his hands crossed up. His left hand should be on the top. All right? He has his right hand on top. Ball goes straight through his hand. That's Dez's fault. The next interception, he's got a fade stop in the back of the end zone. He telegraphs the route by bowing out so the DB has the inside track compared to running straight at the guy, hitting him on the shoulder, and then the ball comes to your outside shoulder. So both the interceptions were not Dak's fault, but I am worried about when they put 7 in the box, when they put 8 in the box, and they bump and run the wide receivers. Witten doesn't have the ability to be able to separate, all right? We shouldn't expect that at this age. But where are the big plays coming from in this offense?
Well,
and that is my concern.
That's where it's got to be. That's where Dez has to be better. Like, we know what we're going to get.
But how many weeks can you keep? You keep saying that every week.
Well, but we saw
all 2 of them.
But the problem is this: like, we saw Dez in the playoff game look like the guy he's able to look like.
When
now,
they were down, Dez was able to bring them back in the game.
Dez was excellent. That was 3 games ago. And I understand Janoris Jenkins is good. That's the cornerback Dez went against in week 1. I understand the Broncos have the best pair of corners in the league, and I don't think there's any team that's a close second to Chris Harrison and Aqib Talib. And the Roby kid, he's from Ohio State, right?
Yes.
They put him on him at some points as well. But Dez just got to win. Dez has to be better in this regard because we know what we're going to get from the other guys. Cole Beasley is a mismatched player. Cole Beasley's not out there just beating better players.
No, he's a scheme player.
You get him schemed up against a slower linebacker, run a crossing route, get him in an open space, and go. Dez is the guy that you're supposed to, no matter who the corner is, it's one-on-one coverage.
Yes.
Well, our guy's 6'5", with Chris Carter-sized hands, can jump really high. He's going to win. Not do what you said, which is be the cause of the interception. No,
I mean, wide receivers, we're responsible for half the interceptions. Now, as a quarterback hates when the wide receiver gives him information that's not true. Like, Dak would have not thrown that ball if he didn't think Dez was going to hit his shoulder and come back. All right, on the slant. That's just an easy catch that any pro is going to make. So those things are correctable, but it's going to keep coming up. They're going to put people at the line of scrimmage because they know this is what Dallas does. Now, does it help Dak out to have a running game? Yeah, it helps any quarterback out. But Dak, to me, did not play a subpar game yesterday. His weapons did not help bail him out.
All right, I'm going to hold it there for a second. Time now again for Hall of Fame hands, so here we go.
Let's do it.
Without these hands, I don't know what I'd do.
Push yourself!
Yesterday in Baltimore, Browns running back Duke Johnson lined up in the slot. Check it out, CC.
Okay, Duke. Little South Florida guy. University of Miami, small guy. You know what they got, Nick?
What?
Small hands. So you got to give him a little loving on that, okay?
What small hands means?
Small hands means small gloves. Yes.
There you go.
I like Duke. They got to all go on the outside. The receiver outside is supposed to stay outside. He's not supposed to be looking in. Duke's going up the numbers against a linebacker or a safety. Makes the one-hand, left-hand grab. Running backs. Also, what makes this more difficult is he doesn't know this corner is not going to hit him. Difficulty, way up there. Let's get 5 on 5.
5
out of 5.
That's impressive.
Right, he's got small hands.
Bonus play, CC. Jake Cutler quickly got activated
stop
with his
that.
new
That's
teammate,
child's
Jarvis
play right there.
Landry. One of Landry's 13 grabs yesterday.
Yeah, OBJ saw this. He tweeted about it. That's my boy. He'll probably be trying the one hand tonight. But Landry, now, him, Hopkins, they probably, and Larry Fitzgerald, they have the best one-handed catchers in the league with Odell. They can all snatch it with one
This
hand.
ain't that impressive to me.
Well, so he's a pro. Now, he does this all the time. If you want to see some great video, YouTube Jarvis Landry catching passes. Him and Odell, oh, man, they go tit for tat.
Why
It's
didn't
impressive.
LSU score more points when they were on that team?
It has something to do with Les Miles eating that grass.
Okay.
All right? Eating the grass affected their offensive matriculation.
Okay, there you go.
Still to come, does beating up on the Saints really prove anything about Tom Brady? That's next on First Things First.